The underdogs, yes indeed. Spoon has been one of the most accomplished indie rock bands of the past 2 decades, and with each release, they defy the expectations from fans and critics alike. Whether it be the raw energy on their debut album, Telefono, the slick and smoky feel of Ga 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 Ga, or even having electronic influences on They Won My Soul, Spoon set their own standards from that of other musicians. Today on Talk Breaks, we talk to frontman Britt Daniel about the night running tour, their humble beginnings, and much more.
Hey everybody, this is Britt Daniel from Spoon. You're listening to WZMB 91.3 FM.
Are you cool?
I'm ready.
From having these underground gigs to now, developing later in the decades that you guys progressed through your years, do you ever miss the dynamics that you guys had back in those early stages?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always fun to play a little room. It's easier to pull off. It sounds like kind of immediately great in a small room almost always, and yeah, it's just kind of you're communicating with the audiences a lot better. And we still do those kind of shows every now and then. This tour is not is not that time.
Besides being known as one of the most accomplished acts of the mid-90s to now, how does it feel like to be compared to other great acts in the 80s and 90s, such as The Cure, the Pixies, and even X, now that you're in this stage in your career?
If that's happening, then that's great. I mean, I love all those bands. The Pixies, The Cure, and X. I mean, yeah, that's quite a trifecta there. I've seen all of them. I love them all.
You guys throughout your career have always changed up your sound, whether it was Ga 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 or They Won My Soul, from indie rock to electronic influences.
Right.
You guys have always changed it up.
I feel like that's kind of your responsibility. If you're going to keep on putting out records, there's got to be a reason you're doing it other than, you don't know what else to do. If you want someone to listen to your record and you want someone to keep paying attention after years and years, then, you really do got to keep pushing, How many bands or artists have you seen where they're on a streak where they do good records for a while and then they kind of just can't do it again? It would be very easy to fall into that rut. I think that a lot of people, they get some success and then they feel like with the success comes money, comes ease of things, and when you do get that used to that ease and that money, then you feel like you can kind of throw money at problems and problems will go away. But you can't really throw that at songwriting, You can't really throw that at making a record. You got to still put in just as much effort as you did back to start, You really got to do that.
And do you ever go back to your previous albums that you released years ago, such as Telefono, and look back and say, we should probably revisit this a bit, or maybe leave it in the past?
Well,
and you stated before that Telefono not your favorite record, obviously.
It's harder to relate to that guy who wrote that record, but I did go back and listen to every single record, every song on every record when we were starting to work on this greatest hits compilation. And I listened to all of Telefono, and it's good. There were things about it that I definitely had not listened to it the whole way through in a long time, and there were things about it that surprised me and I liked. I could hear where I was going for an Echo and the Bunnymen thing on this, or for a PJ Harvey thing on this. Kind of just sort of remembered what my frame of mind was. It was a great time in Austin, and all my friends were in bands doing exactly what I wanted to be doing. They're all on stage playing, a show or two a week, and that was all we really wanted to do.
You mentioned earlier that you said that you couldn't relate to the band who wrote those previous albums. I just was curious, how has your songwriting process changed over the years? How do you relate to that person then versus who you are now?
I say I can't relate to that guy as much. I just don't remember it as well. But when I listened back to the record the whole way through, I caught glimpses of it. But I really feel like we kind of came into our own with the second and third albums, and that's where we really turned into the band that we ended up being. Yeah.
What are some of the pitfalls that you see in many of these young bands commit nowadays versus?
Oh, I don't know. Do I have some kind of crystal ball? Is that what you're asking?
What are some of the pitfalls that you see them make now? Whether it be signing to a label too early or not releasing an EP first and establishing a fan base?
I don't know that you guys would know better than me. I don't know if it matters as much. That label deal was such a goal line, and the way you did it was so scrutinized, like what it could be a disaster, because you've seen all these bands do that. I don't know. I just don't see that happening as much anymore. Maybe it still happens just as much, but I certainly don't think about it as much.
And also, with an expansive discography that goes way longer than 2 decades, are there any tracks that you wish you could perform more often live?
Right now, I'd like to go back and do. We haven't played Outlier in quite a while. We've never gotten a good version of Out Go the Lights. Every now and then I think about that. Maybe 30 Gallon Tank was one of them. Just songs like you think of it and you go, well, why aren't we playing that right now? But the good thing is you can always do it. Not so much on this tour because the shows are so short, but a headlining tour, you can whip that stuff out.
You guys have had your songs featured in numerous shows, TVs, commercials.
I'm sorry, but as a filmmaker, I have to face the truth.
I turn my camera on, I cut my fingers on the way I'm slipping away.
I remember probably a lot of car commercials with the Underdog. What song are you most proud of that's been featured in pop culture?
Oh, a song that's been featured in pop culture. It does seem like the Underdog is one that, in terms of that world of syncs and movies and TV shows, it just always seems to keep coming back. It's done pretty well for a song that we almost didn't put on the album. We almost kept it off. We weren't sure if it fit in with the rest of Ga 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 Ga. Yeah, that's a good one.
Do you get a warm feeling inside? Are you excited, or is it just kind of like, they used my song, but I'm not sure how I liked how they used it?
That's a good point, because you don't really have any say over the way they're going to use it.
Yeah.
What's usually brought up is how long it'll be, and whether it's going to be vocal or not. But sometimes they do little weird edits, and I don't like that. They usually don't do them very well. I mean, I think I know what you're asking, and if if I'm somewhere out, a song comes on, the PA or the radio, or I see something in a film. Overall, it's a cool thing. We didn't make the music for those purposes, but if once we're done with it, people want to play it, then that's great.
Traveling all over the world, are there any vibrant places that you have hope for creatively?
Yeah, I don't know. I ask myself that all the time. Where is Austin in the 90s is happening now? Because it's not happening in Austin. There's a lot of great things about Austin, and I was just thinking about how I can't wait to go back to Austin. But it's a much more expensive town now. It's a much more bigger, money-oriented town. Maybe you guys know. Seems like the last time we actually went to Oklahoma City, there was cool things going on. They had this cool new venue there that they had just opened. I would imagine Detroit, probably, because of how inexpensive it is to buy a place there or to do things there.
And going on into the artists of today, are there any words of wisdom or advice that you give these young aspiring musicians that are coming up now?
I would just say do it yourself. And that doesn't just mean. I just think that the goal should be to please yourself and do it in the city that you're in and the world that you're in. Make the most of it there. Make the most of playing gigs, getting people locally to come to your shows, and not expect that there's going to be some mastermind who's going to make this all happen for you. You got to just make it happen for yourself, and once you do it yourself in a good way and in a local level, then other people will take notice.
I wanna forget how convention fits, but can I get out from under it? Can I cut it out of me? It can't all be wedding cake, it can't all be boiled away. I try but I can't